Tonight is arroz con gandules. These are all the ingredients we'll be using today. Some fresh garlic, garlic powder, 1 sweet onion, a little bit of cumin powder, some lemon pepper, olive oil, fresh ground black pepper. We prefer to use this jasmine rice just for the long grain. It's really good. Some Goya kosher salt. We have some manzanilla olives, some capers. We're going to also need that chicken broth as well as cilantro, and you can't forget some very juicy chicken thighs, as well as the secret ingredient. You gotta have your sazon Goya. That is very necessary. There we go. I had to make sure that that thing got adjusted right there. Alright, let's go ahead and start this dish off. Chicken thighs. We've washed the chicken thighs at this point with some water, cold water, and lemon juice. Now you want to make sure, just to remove all the excess skin, see like this stuff here, you want to make sure that all this excess stuff is off. And then also, always make sure to remove any excess membrane that you see in here. You see when you pull this, you get all that goo. You want to make sure you get that off, because when you go to sear this chicken, you want to get a really beautiful sear on it. Alright, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Just let it keep going. One tablespoon of lemon pepper. Half a teaspoon of cumin. Black pepper.
Say the amount again.
And 1 whole packet of sazon Goya. One teaspoon of black pepper. Mix it well. After mixing your chicken very well, always make sure to marinate it. Let it sit for about 2 good hours in the refrigerator. If you don't have 2 hours, let it sit for at least 30 minutes. You'll thank me about it later. Make sure that you get that grease nice and hot. And once again, we put about maybe a 1/4 cup of olive oil in the pan. Drop it down, skin side down. You hear that? You gotta get that sear. You want to brown this chicken to a perfection. always make sure if you don't have that sound when you drop that chicken, that grease ain't right. You also don't want to overcrowd your pan, because instead of frying your food, you'll end up starting to boil it. And that's never good. You won't get that golden crust you want. So even though we're using 5 chicken thighs, we're only going to cook these 4 for now and come back to the last one. If you're using a bigger pan, you can most likely get all that stuff in there, but unfortunately, this is the biggest pan that I have currently. We're going to end up having to get something nicer than this. Alright, so they've been cooking for a good 5-6 minutes. You want to flip them once that other side is nice and crispy. You see that? We're going to flip it to the other side for about a good 5 to 6 minutes also. So you want to make sure each side gets a good sear on it. But you want to make sure that you have a really good sear. And it takes about a good 5 to 6 minutes. As you can see, when you flip them over after about 5-6 minutes, it's crispy, it's golden. That's going to bring all that flavor. Hear that crisp? Man, alright. So it's been cooking at this point on the other side for about a good 6 minutes. Let's go ahead and see what we got. So that's what you want to see. At this point, we're going to pull them off, put them on a plate. We're going to just set these off to the side for now. We're going to start off putting all our other ingredients inside of this pan. Alright. So now, you see all that flavor in there? You might see some burnt pieces in there, but that's not burnt. That's just flavor. Don't get it twisted. Now, we're going to start this off. We got to brown this rice. So we're going to make sure that this rice goes inside this pan. We're going to start off with 1. We're going to add 2 cups. Even though my family is a family of 6, but right now it's 3 of us, but we are going to make sure that we do pass out some plates while tonight, because we like to spread the love here in the neighborhood. So, you got to make sure that you move this rice around. You can use a wooden spoon, or if you have like a plastic spatula or something like that, that's perfectly fine. Now you're going to want to make sure that you toast this until it got some nice brown color. Because ultimately what you're going to notice is, as you continue to toast this is what's going to bring out all this flavor into this dish. The rice is the key to this dish. When the chicken's done. But if the rice isn't nice and fluffy and perfectly cooked, you've messed up this dish. So I'm going to show you how to cook this thing perfectly. That way, when your friends show up and you got this dish ready to go for them, I promise you, you're going to be the life of the party. Alright, so this rice has been toasted now. We've been moving this rice around this pot for a good 7 minutes now. You see that brown color, that toasted color that that white rice has now? That's what you want. You don't want it burnt. You don't want it too light. You want to make sure that it's got a toasted brown, nice, pretty color on it. Now, I moved everything to the side because this is the part where I like to go ahead and sweat my vegetables. So we're going in with 1 entire, and this is a sweet white onion, but it's an entire sweet white onion. It's not diced, it's not chopped. It's just, you can cut this however you want to. I like chunks. I like to fry it really nice to make sure that it gets a good sweat on it, because you want that flavor to actually come into the pot. That's also going to give the rice a good onion flavor. And of course, very shortly after this, we'll start the process of adding the rest of the ingredients. But we're going to give these onions probably about a good 3 to 4 minutes on each side. We're going to start flipping it over and over to make sure that it gets a good sear on the actual onions, and then make sure that they've been sweated out. So then we'll start combining the rice and the onions. Alright, so these onions have been sitting here sweating for a good 3.5–4 minutes. If you see the color of those onions, you can see the sweat coming through them. All that is straight flavor. Now, this is where we're going to put our minced garlic in. So I minced fresh garlic. And this is about a good 2.5–3 tablespoons. Now, once again, my household, here's the crazy thing. Well, it's not crazy at all. We love garlic. We love like extra of everything. I don't believe in shortcutting people to save on flavor. That's what I feel like restaurants do nowadays. They literally save on flavor by taking out the natural ingredients and putting in a whole bunch of salt and seasonings, which is really not good for you. We want to make sure our food is flavorful, is healthy. We're cooking for a family. So we always want to make sure that we're putting the right stuff in our body. Even though we're not sacrificing flavor, we're not sacrificing the types of food that we like to eat, but we're going to do it the healthiest way that we possibly can by using raw ingredients, fresh ingredients that we buy at the grocery store week in and week out, and not use so much processed stuff, that stuff that's in the can or even the frozen stuff. We like the fresh stuff. Now, we have everything mixed up at this point. Here's where we're going to start going in now. Now that garlic is in, and you don't want the garlic to actually cook too long. See, garlic, it cooks very fast. It doesn't stand up to the same type of heat that you would have in your onion. So you want to make sure that you're not burning your garlic, and this is why at this point we're going to go ahead and go in with 4 cups of our chicken broth. Now, if you don't have chicken broth, you can change it. You can change this over from chicken broth. If you have a bouillon cube or chicken powder, chicken paste, you just want to make sure that you're cooking it down as far as the rice goes, 4 parts to every one. Well, 2 parts of one. Sorry about that. So we have 2 cups of actual rice in here, and we're gonna put 4 cups of chicken broth in here. So we're gonna let this simmer down for a little bit. Now, this is also where I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my my green olives, sorry. Green olives going in. So we chopped up out of those green olives, we made sure we went ahead and chopped up about a good 12 of them, because we also like that olive flavor in this household. So we cut them in half, they're just big chunks, just to give a lot of flavor to them. We're making sure in my household we enjoy that pickly flavor. And also we're going to go ahead and go in with the capers. Now, one thing I enjoy, my family enjoys in this dish, is the actual juice from the capers. So I'm going to put in about a good tablespoon of that juice into the rice. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in another tablespoon of capers themselves. We want to get as much flavor out of this as we possibly can. And these capers give you a lot of flavor. Now, once again, put as many as you feel that your family will actually like in this dish, because it is a pickly flavor. We just so happen to like that a lot. Now, one thing that would normally be in this dish that would be traditional is your tomato paste. That would normally break down some of that flavor from that. But tonight I'm not using tomato paste because I do not have any. So that is optional once again. At this point, I've cut my heat up back to all the way on high. We're going to bring this up to a boil. And to do so, we're going to go ahead and cover this up for about a good 10 minutes. And then we're going to come back and check on it. Make sure that you leave that lid on the entire time, because if you don't, you're gonna let off a lot of your heat. So we'll see you back in just a second. Alright, so now this has been cooking on a medium high for about a good 10 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and add this chicken in here. Now, as we're adding the chicken, make sure you just place this chicken in properly. We're gonna cut the heat all the way down low at this point. So we're gonna stick this chicken inside. Now once again, I told you we had 5 pieces of chicken, right? So we gotta find an extra spot for this one extra piece. And this is the point where we're gonna make sure that all this extra juice that was on the plate goes inside that pot, right? We're gonna cook this on low. We're gonna get that moved around. Stop the video. Alright, so we're gonna mince. We're actually gonna not mince, but put some of this lemon zest in here. You want to zest some of this lemon, make sure it has a lemon flavor. This is gonna be delicious. Just gonna mince some of this lemon off in here. Now once again, all this is to taste. I like a lot of flavor in my food, especially a lot of fresh flavor. We're gonna make sure we got a lot of flavor in here. And always make sure that you zest your lemon. Wash your lemon first off, but zest your lemon before you squeeze the lemon inside of this dish. We're not gonna use the whole lemon, but we're gonna make sure we have enough, because remember, we did use that lemon pepper in here. So on top of that, we're gonna make sure that we have some fresh lemon inside of this dish. We're gonna go over one good time with about half of it. Alright, so now we got this pot on low. We're gonna let this cook for another 15 minutes, fully covered. And make sure not to move that cover, because once again, if you do, it's gonna kill the flavor. Alright, so this has been sitting here for about a good 15 minutes at this point. Yeah, you can tell that rice is done. So if you've noticed, I haven't put any salt into this dish, and that's because the chicken broth has a lot of sodium in it. So let me taste this real quick. So we're gonna salt this to taste. I'm gonna go in with 1 tablespoon just to give it some flavor. Now from here, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this dish up. So we're gonna make sure that that salt is distributed throughout the entire dish. Now you see that flavor that comes from the bottom of the pot? That's that good stuff right there. That's what we're looking for. Alright. So we're gonna get that off of there too and mix this all the way in. Man, I wish you could smell this. This smells delicious. Once again, this is a very easy meal. Takes a good 30-40 minutes to make. Obviously it does have some prep time. So now we're going to go in with our final touch, which is about 1 handful of coriander or cilantro, depending on what region you're from. That's what you'll end up calling that part. And momentarily, we're going to let this sit for probably about a good 2-3 more minutes while it's completely off. Just letting that steam finish off what it's supposed to do. And we'll see you shortly. Alright, so this dish has been sitting and simmering for about 45 total minutes. I figured I'd go ahead and plate it to show you how we're gonna eat it. Trying to make it as pretty as possible because at some point I'm gonna have to make a thumbnail of this. The last final touch, some dried parsley. It's about a pinch of dried parsley for flavor and color. Bon appetit, man. You know what? I can't wait. Let me dig in. Man, that's tender. Look at that, completely just dissolved. You know what? Let me just grab this piece right here. That one looks charred and nice. We're using the spoon. That's good. I hope you and your family enjoy. Trust me, try it. This is a good one. Make sure to get those capers and all those olives. That's your flavor with that lemon. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't stop. Alright, I gotta end this one. This one's mine.